Hello, everyone. Welcome to this week's Enchanted Chatter. This week we have a fun special guest. We have Alex.
Woo!
Hi.
Alex was very kind enough to join us tonight. Initially, they were going to join just me because Bri has been sick this week, but Bri has been feeling better. So now you get all three of us. Alex, do you want to tell us a little bit about your Lorcana journey and about yourself?
Yeah, for sure. My Lorcana journey is pretty cool in that my partner and I moved to Texas, and we were really sad because we were living in East Texas. And I just happened to be scrolling on TikTok, and it was like, oh, there's this new Disney trading card game. And like prior to Lorcana, I had played Magic, but only casually. The community just wasn't for me. It was pretty misogynistic, and I didn't enjoy it. But I had the cards because, that's what happens. And so I was like, oh, babe, we have to go play this new game. It comes out tomorrow. And she was like, okay, yeah, like we can look into it. And I was like, no, we have to. And so then literally the next day we went down to our local game store in Tyler. And I was like, do y'all have Lorcana? And they were like, yeah, we do. And I was like,
give it all to me.
Wonderful. And as you know, first chapter is really hard to find during first chapter. But we had gotten in and started going and playing in league, and the league was somewhat small because it's East Texas. But that's how it started. It was really cool because I didn't know that it was coming out. A lot of people had gone to D23 and stuff. I didn't know what that was. And I just happened upon this random TikTok the algorithm said I needed. And they were right. So then I dove headfirst into it as a competitive hobby. My partner likes to play for fun. And so I just started doing it around my work schedule. And I got really invested. The Enchanteds helped. But then I was winning tournaments and having a lot of fun. I started driving up to DFW, which is where I met the Incredibles. And then y'all were like, hey, want to be on the team? And I was like, yeah, also I'm moving to Portland. And so I've been playing competitive since. I am one of the captains for the Portland chapter, or the PNW chapter rather. We have lots of fun, work on a lot of community building stuff. I am a content contributor for Lorcana.
You phrase that. That's great.
Because I don't know, content being created, we all kind of riff off of each other, and also there's a lot of intertextual context because we're doing a Disney card game.
Mm-hmm.
But I had the opportunity to get a card reveal for Reign of Jafar, which was super fun. I really enjoyed it, and that was released on my Instagram. Yeah, that's kind of where we are now. I've done some judging. I judged the Vegas DLC, kind of a little all over the place. I TO'd when I was in Texas because they needed someone to run the tournaments in our local league. And I was like, that sounds like fun. I run speech and debate tournaments, so why not that too? And that was cool. But as far as my content contributions, you can find me on all of my socials. It's all Alex the Queer. I like to keep it simple. It's a nice little moniker on the back of my jersey. And then I actually am working on a new project with my co-host and one of our teammates, Aggro Baby. It's going to be called Rotten to the Lore, and we are releasing or launching at the pre-release of Reign of Jafar. So
I love it. So inspiration for the name, was it from the Descendants Rotten to the Core? I feel like that's their whole thing. I saw it and I was like, okay, if you say it's not from that, I was like,
I have to admit that The Descendants is absolutely one of my guilty pleasures. I watched that as a full-grown adult and just loved every second of it, and have watched every single one, and I have no shame admitting that.
I have also seen all of them, whether it was for my own pleasure or against my own will. That is still to be determined. The small child, my niece, was like, I have to watch it. So therefore, I am the Disney adult in her life. So I was like, all right, we're watching it. It's Disney. Let's go. And then watched it on a loop. I think all of them on a loop for like a year straight. So.
Okay. So I can see where you say like maybe against your will a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if the songs do come on my little Disney radio random things, the songs, top tier.
They
Uma? Oh,
yeah.
Love it.
So I have not told Bri about this or Alex because I wanted it. Today I was opening some packs because I am truly a degenerate.
Oh my.
Oh no.
I was opening Japanese packs and I opened a Mim dragon.
Of course you did. Of course you did.
Of course you did. How many packs did you open? Just curious.
Just one of like the little like I don't know how many packs are in the Japanese boxes.
Okay, so you opened a box. I opened a box of the previous set yesterday. Shout out to the Card Haven for fueling my guilty pleasure and trying to help my husband not come home and get murdered. So I got to open a whole box. We did not get Enchanted. All we got was a foil Aurora, which I'll take it.
I mean,
I've still not pulled an Aurora from this set. I have opened so much product. I'm not even kidding. I don't even have a regular, like I just can't. She's just doesn't want to. And I'm a Steel Song player. So I'm literally like.
It's just rude.
I mean, I think it's because I was like, oh, honestly, she's not that great. She's not going to end up in my deck. And then she was like, oh, yeah?
Mm-hmm. Well, now you're not going to find me anywhere.
Yeah. I literally am like, ma'am, where are you?
I feel like this Aurora is the...
Sorry, I was going to say, Kirby, I do think you're right. I think it is 24 packs of 6 cards. I think what throws me off always opening those is because it's only 6 cards in a pack. I feel like I didn't open as many packs as I actually did.
Yeah, I think that's a cost-efficient way of
I mean, you have a lot less cards that end up getting donated to our good friend G-Rod at the Keller PD. Which, speaking of, if G-Rod is watching this, I have more boxes for you.
I have a full box, and I think it's going to be like legit full because I have to go through my Reign of Jafar, or not my Reign of Jafar. Wow. We're talking about Reign of Jafar and I'm already excited for it. So I want.
She's already talking about how she's already got all this bulk from it.
All of my Azrite stuff needs to be organized before I get Reign of Jafar cards or my office will truly be chaos.
Yeah. Relatable. Yeah, my partner and I had a meticulous spreadsheet and then we moved across the country and I was like, it's fine. And then I just kept making decks and it's not fine. And she's unhappy because it is a mess and we have to recatalog everything from first chapter on. The only thing we don't have to recatalog are the Enchanteds. And that's because, well, we know which ones we have because they're separate.
I recatalog everything? You're too far for me to offer my services. So I am it.
Yeah.
I have offered many members on our team birthday gifts of sorting their cards and organizing all of their cards. But you would have to bring all of them to me, or I just need to come out and visit you. But
you could do that.
But then I don't want to spend the whole time sorting cards.
That's okay. Dawn will want to do it anyway.
I enjoy sorting cards. It makes my brain happy.
Yeah. And that's the thing it is very enjoyable. We like to do it together. Unfortunately, I've created what would have been a fun sorting organization task into a less fun organization task.
Well, it could be worse. Your box of troves, like about half of your troves that have all of your commons and uncommons. About half of we get 3 of each set. Mm-hmm. So keep in mind that's how many troves? We're about 9 of them fell because the bottom of the box fell open. All just random sets.
It was bad.
I mean,
no, we did not.
Mine is about that bad.
Mixed up. I was going through one of the troves. I was finding from Archazia's island. I was finding legendaries, foils, like all kinds of stuff that was just thrown in with some random set 3 commons and uncommons that are probably never going to leave the box. I was like, oh no.
One thing I will say that is like the best investment that I made for Lorcana and sorting is I got trays. I got sorting trays for my house and life-changing. I was like, I have one sitting next to me. So I have little ones that are perfect. There you've got 6 spots. So you got one for each lore color. And then I have a big one that's like 5 by 3.
Yeah.
And
you're gonna have to invest.
It took me a while to like make finally take the dive and buy them because they're a little pricey. I know sometimes some local game stores sell them. None of the ones by us do in Fort Worth. I think there might be 1 or 2 in Dallas that do. So I ended up having to
randomly get them.
Yeah.
It's like you have to know whoever's doing their order that week and tell them, hey, I want these things.
Yes,
and they just order it for you.
Which is also like a good thing to say. If you ever need something that like your local game store doesn't have in stock, you should always go talk to someone that works at the store because 9 times out of 10, they probably can order it for you. And then you don't have to buy it off Amazon.
Yep.
Very true. So very true.
So just some food for thought.
Yep.
Mainly because I give Amazon too much money that I shouldn't. So that's why.
Yeah, you can always support a local game store and they'll order it for you. And if they're like, no, I won't, go to another one.
That is so true.
Yep.
Do we think we're ready to dive into talking about the meta breakdown?
Yeah, let's do it.
So.
All right. I feel very professional today. I made a whole little PowerPoint.
Yeah.
So I pulled this off of Ink-Born Heroes. They pulled it from Inkdex, which top tier. I love their graphs. And I can't make a graph this pretty. I tried and I was like, this is silly. I should just use their graph. That's much better than what I could do.
That's already done. Yeah. Just like, why are we doing more work?
And this is, so Archazia's Island, this is like the most up-to-date meta breakdown from Inkdex after last weekend's set champs. We see Steel Song leading the bunch, followed by mid-range, Amethyst Steel. So my 2 favorite deck combinations. So I love seeing them at the top of the meta. Then we go into Evasive, Purple, or Amethyst, Ruby, which I actually have not played a ton against towards the end of this set, which I'm surprised by because I know that it's definitely represented in the DFW area.
I feel like we have so many people in the DFW area that are kind of known for the Ruby Amethyst style that they're all kind of venturing into the Amethyst Steel and just really kind of going in there where they're trying to catch people off guard and play just a deck that's insanely good also.
Yeah, I think I've seen a lot of that as well. Alex, what does the meta look like out by you?
Very similar to this breakdown. There's a lot of Steel Song, and as we know, there's so many different variants of Amber Steel. Even just Steel Song in general. So there's several different variants there. There's a good amount of Purple Steel. The red-purple evasives, I do see it, and one of our teammates, Whisper or Camille, plays it. We've seen also, I would say, more Blurple than, Red, Blue, and Blurple are probably about the same up here. And with the Red, Blue meta here, it is pretty much split between the item build Sisu line and the DKP version. Where I would say it differs is I think Green Steel is above Blurple and Red, Blue, depending on the tournament.
It's actually interesting that you call that out because when I pulled these earlier this week, discard was above Blurple and Control, or not Control. It was right below Control and still above. I'm gonna be tongue tied over here. Blurple. And I know that we got asked about the breakdown between Blurple and Blurple Jafar. This does not break that down. I'm sure if we looked, we could probably see. I think it would probably be even, leaning a little bit away from the Jafar blurple. I know in DFW we're pretty split on which version we see. I've seen a mix of both.
Yeah. Same thing here. Like most people are not on Lamps and Jafar, but a couple people have played it. I think that's just something that happens with Zan known decks, right? Is that some people just pick them up and are like, oh, I'm gonna try it. And people have been like, oh, I'm moving away from the lamp because like, well, it's cool. While Jafar wheel options, right, are options in like even purple steel because people brought that back after the blurple lamp Jafar combo came out. I think people are like, yeah, no, it's cool, but it's gimmicky and it's fragile. And so I think people have started, at least in our area, leaning more toward like traditional blurple.
Yeah.
The Jafar wheel is definitely a lot harder to pick up also. You can't, it's not one of those decks where you can just like grab it and no play testing and just like go to a tournament and okay, I can figure out the lines and I can get there. Whereas the traditional amethyst steel, you can kind of, if you've played any sort of steel combo like amber steel, amethyst steel, you generally have an idea of the play lines that you're going for. But with the Jafar wheel on it, it just makes it, there's a few more extra things of steps and things you're going to have to think about that necessarily newer players aren't always going to think if they're not used to playing the deck and seeing the lines.
Yeah. I would agree with that. And I think similarly with Blurple and the Jafar variant, I think that that's also a much harder deck to play than the standard Blurple. In the sense of like, I think the lines are a lot less forgiving, and if you misplay one, it's pretty hard to come back because like you said, Alex, it's not as forgiving.
Yeah.
I do like seeing the meta shift from before Hiram ban to now after, because like beforehand it was all just you saw. You were either playing items or you were playing something specifically that countered one of the two item decks, and that was really all you saw. And even the things that countered them didn't really counter it all that well, just because of how broken that Hiram was. Because especially with Hiram, we had the sapphire steel. So
I love Alex.
the
drone, staying quiet.
So this is the time that I admit that I was playing blue steel items.
Who would have guessed? Why would I
know
a specific deck against you?
Wild. So like I wasn't sure if I was gonna play blue steel or if I was gonna play blue red at the start of this set. And we had like done play testing before pre-release, and I was like, I don't know, I think I might be playing blue red. Like it just has so many tools and whatever. And like I love playing Steel Song. It's a lot of fun.
It's not a lot of fun against either of the decks that you just talked about, though.
That's correct. And I was like, no. Upon more testing, I was like, no, I actually really enjoy this item line. Like I enjoyed the items. I was just worried that they wouldn't get there, right? Because you're playing solitaire. And so like I'm playing whatever. But I think because I've played generally every deck, I kind of was seeing how the lines were being very abusive. And I took second at a tournament that we have here. It's like this invitational series. And after so many tournaments, the top 16 get invited to a regional tournament where the prizing is first chapter, English first chapter. And so like the team up here has been working on that. And I got second at that tournament. I was like, oh, that's super cool. And I went for my job out to our national tournaments, and I landed back in Portland, and my phone blew up and was like, Hiram's banned, Fortisphere's banned, Hiram's banned. And I was like, because I was playing Bucky when, Bucky was errataed. And I was like,
so basically what you're saying is you might be the problem.
You're the problem.
I think I'm the problem. Yeah. It's me. Yeah, I was like, wow, this is funny. The 2 times that Ravensburger's done something at this point about a card that drastically changed the meta, I was playing that deck, and like that, it was best deck in format, right? Like, so it makes sense.
It just goes to show that like when a deck is just the best deck, it's the best deck. You can't really,
yeah. And there was
players going to play the good decks.
Yeah, there were things that could be done, right? When you're playing against blue steel, but honestly, what you're waiting for is the blue steel player to not be able to do the thing, and I think that breeds really bad gameplay. And I think Ravensburger knew that, but mainly knew like the cards that are coming, how this is going to create an environment that people just don't want to play in. Like my partner loves me a lot and did not enjoy playing against Bucky. Did not enjoy playing against Tamatoa and Hiram, popping all of the popsicles and bringing them back and then paying things for 3. Like she was like, I feel like you're playing by yourself. And I'm like, yeah, well, I kind of am. And so I respect the decision a lot. Was it sad? Yeah, I was a little sad for my little Flava Flav boy, but also I understand that like the developers know better than we, the players, in a lot of ways. And I also, there's a lot of backlash in the community where people are just like, I'm not having fun. Like I'm going to my local and I'm not having fun because I don't want to spend $300 to upgrade my deck or to put this deck together, it being even more.
And I think
also just the time.
But I think that's a really good call out on part of the reason I definitely didn't feel as bad about the band. And like, I don't play those decks, but I also feel like it was a really high barrier for entry because when you're saying like the only decks that are winning right now are $300+ like, that's not good for the community. No new player is going to be able to drop $300 on a game that they're just starting to play
that they don't even know if they like
competitively.
Yeah. And it was more like $600 for these 2 decks, right? Like it was. I think a lot of what people have been like, oh, Lorcana is so accessible and you can like play things and it's fun and like there's a Porcana league and like you do cool things with cards and it is pretty accessible. At least in terms of like getting cards. Those 2 decks did make it very difficult because like the price of even foils shot up and like, yeah, that's what the card market does. Unfortunately, it meant like people in my area who are just like, everybody had already bought their crabs. So everybody's out of stock of crabs. And are like, where's Tamatoas? I need to buy Tamatoas and nobody has them for sale. So then you're like, oh, well, I have to buy them online. Well, now the cheapest on TCG Player was like $70.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, good thing I got my crabs before now. Like,
good thing I'm set.
It just, that can make the game really not fun. And also the mirror of like the blue steel mirror or the blue red mirror.
Not fun.
Like, are you just, at that point, you're going to socialize to just play by yourself. To a degree.
And like taking up so much time of like everyone's time because you're at a tournament and you're waiting and it's like, okay, everyone's done except for these 3 tables and they're all playing either red, blue Ruby, Sapphire or Sapphire Steel items. And they're going to time and they're halfway through game 2.
Yep. I think that the ban was necessary. I'm hoping that Hiram gets to be brought back for, for the Infinity format. But we'll see. I do think it's an interesting choice that they banned Fortisphere over Popsicle. I get why they did it because Popsicle's played in other decks. But if we're picking a card that is more broken than the other, it wasn't Fortisphere.
I agree, but also I think because Popsicle is specifically listed on other cards, such as like Nick Wild and other things, if they would have banned Popsicle, they would have had to go through and errata other cards that specifically said it only affected Popsicle.
that, but I also think the other reason was based around the fact that Fortisphere was sort of not in the, like, if you look at all the steel cards, it didn't totally fit the mechanics of the steel, like, biography, whatever you want to call what those cards do. And I think that from what I had heard, like, that was the reason behind it versus Popsicle, where Popsicle, it fits more of the Sapphire dynamic
personality.
Personality. Thank you.
No, and I think that's what Ravensburger said whenever they put out their statement, and I buy it. I believe it. I think that it was good for the game, right? Like, we're looking at a very diverse meta, like, and that's something that's really exciting. Like,
I really enjoy it. I like being able to go to a tournament and not play just the same 2 decks over and over again, unless that's just like my luck, which, I mean, happens a lot, but as long as I don't see this one deck, I'm good, and that's all I'll see all day. But
I feel like it's been nice to, like, just have this diversity of a meta, because it makes playing more fun. I enjoy, like, even if I'm not doing the best on a day or at a tournament, like, I'm happy if I don't have to play the same deck over and over. It actually makes for a more enjoyable format and competitive scene.
And also it's just going to fit, like, you can find a deck that's going to fit your play style that's still going to be very relevant, because all the decks play so differently that are, like, look at your top 4, they're all going to have different lines. Whereas, like, Steel Song and the Amethyst Steel kind of are similar, with it being half steel. You still have your steel cards that are just great that you're going to want to play, but necessarily, like, the lines on them aren't exactly the same. So how you play them. So there's people that, like Alex here, who Steel Song works great with and does wonderful. And then there are people like me that played Steel Song and wanted to cry. I can go back to my red circle and I can just crush everyone's hopes and dreams. It's fine.
Yeah, that's valid. I very much, like, I don't know. I think that there are colored personalities, right? That with each color, they give us something that we like as a player. And it kind of fits with our personality in some ways, right? Like, Bri, the first time that we played, you were playing Red Fossa, and I was playing. Well, how can you not if I flip your Chernobog on turn 4? Let's be real.
I just remember I kept apologizing to you. That was, like, how I met you.
Yeah.
I am so sorry. And we just, like, sat there in silence for, like, a whole minute once it flipped. And we were just like,
Yeah, no, it was it was so funny, because I'd been playing Steel Song for a while, and I did not realize until the next tournament that I went to, like, that the next day or whatever, that I wasn't playing the little Robin Hood shift. I was only playing the big Robin, which
I'm sorry, what?
Yeah, I had changed the deck and didn't put all my cards back in is what happened. And so I was, like, pulling. So at that tournament, I'm surprised that I won a round. I mean, I won a couple rounds, but, like, I drove up, 3 hours to go to the set champs, and Dawn sat in the car and was like, and then I think Bri's round was the round that it was, like, my last round. I was like, hey, if I get this, I will stay. And if I lose, I'm just going to concede to you so I can drive 3 hours home. And then, like, game 1 was, like, close, but no potato. Game 2, flipped the Chernobog on turn 4. And I said, it's not my night. And that's okay. That's so cool and so fine. I was like, it's so wild that I can't seem to find this little 1-drop, which is even funny now, because everyone here knows that I kind of, like, complain about it, because I will find my little 1-drop Robin at the worst time. He just shows up and I'm like, wow, why? And that's funny, because we've just always had this relationship. And I think the difference here with, like, the different types of players is, like, even people who, like, are Ruby Amethyst players, right? Started in set 1, Ruby Amethyst players. While I appreciate the counterpart that y'all are to my Steel Song, It's always such a grindy matchup. And now with the evasive build, like I've thought about playing the evasive build this weekend because it is so good and it is so fun. And like, I think that the colors and their personalities are kind of like starting to be very clear and defined. Versus like in previous sets, it's kind of like, well, I mean, purple draws a lot, and also you get instant lore, and also why do they keep making purple so good? And I got great question. Why no song to banish locations? Why no song that deals 3 damage? I don't know. A Steel Song player might have that question, but nonetheless, right? People who enjoy drawing cards and like getting to make their decisions are going to play purple decks. People that like to ramp are going to gravitate toward blue decks because they get to have more ink than they would ever need. And I think that
I don't know how they need so much. I don't.
They're at like 20 something ink, and I'm like, why? You
because there's a lot to do.
It's like they do it, and like there's still like 5 ink left to the side there, and they're like, I could do this turn, or I could wait. What shall I play with my?
This is why I found this set that I have found joy in discard decks, because I really enjoy just stopping people from doing the thing that they want to do, so I can play the game.
Discard definitely saw a big like increase once Hiram went bye. Like that's fully what I was anticipating seeing like that weekend whenever we went to SCG Con in Denver. I was like, oh, we're just going to see a ton of discard. So what's anti-discard? All right, I'm going to play that one. And then 0 discard. It was chaos. No one knew what was happening.
I think that discard, honestly, like the reason that a lot of people gravitated towards it, and I don't disagree. Like Hiram got banned, and I said, well, I guess I'm gonna play Diablo, because Steel Song, like while there was a clear route, I was sitting there going, I don't want to play a deck that isn't getting updated. Like it feels disingenuous, right? But then there comes a point where you have to make the choice. Like, do I play discard and lose half my rounds because people are teched for me? Or do I play Steel Song and have a lot of fun and then be like, you really don't have a new card? And I'm like, yep, no new cards. No new cards.
It's funny you say that, Alex, because I started playing the Emerald Amethyst discard deck, and I found that to have, like, it felt a lot better playing that versus just the Steel Ember. And I think it just feels like there's more options in that deck. Whereas the traditional discard, I feel like you have to discard or somebody is going to attack against you, and then you're really SOL.
Yeah, I think that's because it is paired with a color that draws you so many cards. So like, if you don't get your discard package, you're not like, oh, what is my plan against red blue? Like that's not.
Yes.
And purple is just such a strong supporting color anyway, in this game, or amethyst, excuse me. So like, it is something that like, I love the deck. I think it's great. I think that the combination can be unfair to some people. Also, I'm playing Steel Song, which here's the thing that is funny. So I often like to complain about Ruby Amethyst, as I should, as a Steel Song player from Chapter 1, right? Because they're always the 2 decks that go head to head. And like, depending on the set, right, that we're in, depends on if it leans more Steel Song favored or if it leans more Ruby Amethyst. And I love where we are now because we're back to this like even kill. Okay, depending on what card you see, depend on whose matchup it is. And that's a lot of fun. Yeah. Also, the worst part of my game, the die roll. It literally like now feels more like, oh, it's not just who goes first, but it's also who makes what choice. And even if we're making optimal choices, who has what when, right? Like, did you see 4 genies? Oh, that was cute. You saw 4 of them? That's so nice. But did you see them
in one hand?
Yeah.
That's not you see them in one hand.
Yeah, no, that
last night.
Very true.
I had 4 in my hand, or I had 3 in my hand, and I was like, I need 1, maybe 2. but
yeah, that's unfortunate. There was I think it was last set. Camille and I were playing against each other in top 8, like we always do. And last set, literally every single set champs, we would talk together and then we would hit each other. And I was like, how is this? How every time? And it was just funny. It was funny. And we were both playing Ruby Amethyst at a point. And one game I saw 4 foxes and he saw 4 rabbits. And I said, well, one of those cards is better than the other. And so it, sometimes it just does come down to what you see. And I think that with such a diverse meta, it makes people want to be able to play wacky things or like add their own spin to things, which is great for the game.
Don't you worry. Also, at the end of this list, there's the best list that's ever been seen coming, and that I will share with the masses, and everyone can play it.
I'm ready for next set because Blurple. I know that's what I will be on and for who knows how long, because I'm so excited to be singing into the unknown as I am playing it.
That's a valid perspective.
That's totally why I love the song. And I'm like, and it's specific for Blurple, and it's just with all the purple cards that are already busted.
It's pretty great.
I'm going for it. Plus I get Hades from set 1, which is like my favorite art still, I think, of all of them.
Should we start diving into some of the set 8 cards then?
Yeah.
Let's do it.
All right. Our first friend, Bolt, down but not out.
All right. Bolt.
I think that this is going to see some solid play in aggro Amber Steel decks. I don't know if it would see any play in like more traditional Steel Song, but then again, I could also see this being a great Rapunzel target. But the downside is that it's coming in exerted, which makes me think
I feel like it's just gonna die before it actually gets to do anything, unless you have something that can ready him like immediately. I feel like he has. What are they gonna? They might use a character to squish him, but 4 health with 0 punchback. Like they're just gonna destroy him. He scares me. I'm just like, he could be really good, but also he might just die.
Yeah, I think he's definitely a limited card for pre-release events. Yeah. I think that in the aggro version, like Diggy Hole and stuff like that, I think that it might be like a 2 of situation. I think decks that play like Pluto or Chinpo, like big bodyguards, that it could be good. The hard part, right, is that this, while it quests for 4, like you're talking about, it has to survive, and depending on how much red, right, he's just going to be ink. Like if you're playing against an aggro deck, he's great, but otherwise you're kind of just like, oh, I mean, people have to Zeus him. Yeah. But if I can turn my Lawrence sideways to just take out this Bolt, I am fine, because it did nothing for me.
Yeah. I still think I would play a Lawrence over this in any of my Steel Song decks. The only thing I can think of, though, is sometimes I'm always interested to try some of these like cards out to see how like it demands an answer. So it is like, it's nice to put that threat on the board and make the other player use up a damage song that they would use on a character that I need out more. But to your point, like, because it's not hitting back for anything, I feel like it's just not going to see as much play as it potentially.
I feel like it's just going to end up being kind of like Gontu, where maybe at first people are like, oh yeah, I'm going to try it because he's got 4 lore, and what if they can't answer
is great. Do not hate on Gontu. I love Gontu.
He was real popular right at the beginning, and then
people just don't have
the success rate of him.
They don't have the faith behind Gontu, and they should still keep Gontu in their deck. they're just not believers.
I'm just saying, he's
Gantu is
down
for
popularity
Kiwis.
a little bit.
Yeah, Gantu is a Kiwi card and a Kiwi card alone. Like, I love him, but like, the thing is, right, you're thinking about with this card, like what else is coming out that next turn. And the hard piece of that is like, you have so much that can just come out and take it because of how many, like even Goofy, for example, does 2 here. And like, sure, if you have Rapunzel next turn, that's, you know, value, but like they gain 2 lore off of it. You're getting 2 cards. And the goal with the Amber Steel aggro deck is to go faster. And at that point, you're not. I mean, but a lot of people would argue that, like, one, it's inkable, so therefore it can be playable, which I think if it was uninkable, it's just not playable.
Agreed.
Yeah.
But I think that it's no more than a 2 of card. And I think that, yes, while it demands an answer, that is a good thing. If it can get a quest off consistently, then it's worth it. But otherwise, like, this is taking the place of like an Ariel.
I'd rather play Ariel, or like
I'd rather find a song
for the Robin.
Yeah.
So
yeah, so
I feel like it's just going to end up being similar to where it's going to be, people are going to try it, and then it's going to be like, okay, but the success of it, I have so many other options to play this turn. Like, is it really worth?
I would be interested, and I'm not familiar enough with the deck to say that this would be a good option in it, but the Bolt, like Steel Song deck, I would be interested to see if this is played in that deck at all.
Shift target.
Shift target, but there are also quite a few good shift targets for Bolt. So
yeah, and he has quite a few shift targets, but I mean, none of them quest for 4. So
yeah.
And look how cute he is. Like, honestly, I want to put it right.
Sorry.
Yeah. Okay. I hear you.
I'm just glad he doesn't have the crazy eyes. He's got crazy eyes in one of his other cards.
Yeah, but that's because he's a superhero.
He is.
Super scary.
Super scary hero.
All right, our next one, the big man.
I'm so excited. I am pumped. He needs to work in something.
In something?
I don't know what it is, but something he needs to work in. I just want something so I can have all of the giant characters. Like, I have Giant Tink and Giant Mickey in the same deck. That's probably just Goblin Brain taking over.
Ruby Steel.
Like, I want it. I want to cheat him out early. Like, what can I possibly do to get this mouse out?
Ruby Steel.
I want to see him played, but I don't see it happening, particularly because it's uninkable. If it was inkable, I think there's a better chance to see him played, but
yeah.
No, but also he quests for 5.
He does.
And if, like, the only thing that's like a big removal that wouldn't see the 5 damage to each opposing character benefit would be prepared. Like, so really, if you're not in a heavy be prep area, this Mickey, I mean, come on.
Or they go, and then
throw in everything into Mickey, and then whatever they didn't throw into it is just going to die anyways.
I mean,
because 5
card has to be paired with that other Mickey.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
The sorcerer Mickey. I'm already. Yeah. I have my husband on it.
So the problem is, right, that Mickey that, like, when it dies, you can play a character for free. This is the card you'd play. You could only play one of these in your deck so that you don't brick, because that other Mickey is also uninkable, right? Like,
yes,
it is a worse Chernabog.
Yeah.
It feels unobtainable. Like, adorable, love the idea. I'm gonna play with it and put it in a deck, but like,
no, it's my one of, like, how I have one of Chernabog in my still in my little Fossa deck, red Fossa deck.
We know it.
Just for giggles, and everyone said I was crazy. And then I came over and they're like, "How did you do?" I was like, "I feel really bad." And they're like, "Why?" I was like, "Chernabog came out turn 4." And they're like, "That's what you wanted." I was like, "Yeah, but I really liked them."
They liked you too. They were just sad at themselves because why did I kill Mufasa right there? I did not need to. I straight up didn't need to. I was like,
if I had drawn into that Turner bog, I would have been dead because I would have been like, oh, okay, this is a dead card in my hand. I have nothing to do.
Yeah. And I knew that. And I didn't want you to feel that way. So
yeah, you saw it coming and you
thinking of others
for me.
Yeah, I'm thinking of others.
But, Mickey.
All right.
Yes, I like this card.
Is Beyond the Horizon. I are you excited for another whole new world in your deck? Because I am.
Yeah, and it's
like they don't have to share.
With Jafar, it's already being popular, and then this coming out, it's just like oof.
I also, I don't know if we know this, I really love Stitch. Like so much. Like so much. Like
I need scrub.
Like
I need
so much.
I also got those for my son.
Oh my gosh, that's so cute.
I have all of the Stitch Build-A-Bears because my husband gets them for me every time they come out with a new one.
So I have a thing for Stitch, right? And like this card is good on its own, but like they made it so much better. Like I just need it now. Need it now.
I need full art of it.
Yeah. I would love to see an alternate art of this card. A DLC in the future, I'll take it. Anything. That would be
RB, are you listening?
RB Please. Is always listening, as we know. I mean, I don't see. I mean, this is uninkable. Steel Song runs a lot of uninkables, but I have a list that I'll be able to share shortly that I fit this into already and feel pretty comfortable with it. I took out 2 uninkables and put. I think I'm going to start with 2 of this card to start playtesting. This set's Steel Song, so I'm feeling good about it. I don't see a downside of this any more than like any other uninkable card in Steel Song.
Yeah, no, I think it's great. It's a more controlled, smaller version of Whole New World, right? Like, exactly. I think one of the things that Amber Steel, that Trad Steel Song struggles with the most is like we sometimes get to a point where we're just like banking on that Whole New World because we don't have anything else.
New World or bust.
And that's the like live by Steel Song, die by Steel Song. This helps you die less by Steel Song. So that's nice.
And I'll be interested to see it played in other decks as well, because I do think other steel combinations will play it. I think the fact that it's a Sing Together song is going to make it a lot more playable. Because
green
a lot
steel.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's the green steel card too. Yeah.
All right, our next one.
This card is so good.
The face.
It is so good. I know.
Okay, so I'm perfectly placed in the middle of you two because I saw you add this to the notes and I was like, I do not think this card is that good. And like saw your notes about
turn one Cinderella, sing Let the Storm Rage On, play Nathaniel Flint. He's Smee, but without gaining damage every turn. And then he's also a captain. So then your Smees won't even gain the damage because you have a captain out early that's not Captain Hook.
So I think that that's a valuable perspective. Let me run a different perspective. Turn one, Cindy. They go, I bet they got Storm. I'm not playing anything. Now you ink Nathaniel and pass.
No, because you still have Smee in your deck. You run both of them.
But you don't have Smee in your hand because you went for curve, right?
Yeah.
I see. Well,
just have the
yes,
card.
If you have a choice, then you just ink it. I get the stat line. I get why. I get why it can be good, and in the right circumstance, yes, it can be. I think, unfortunately, this card is not a Steel Song card. I think that this card is like something else.
So
I can't see it fitting into purple steel. Okay, red steel maybe. I didn't think about red steel. I was thinking like like meta high playing cards right now. I was like, okay, purple steel. I was like, it doesn't. I can't see it fitting well into amethyst steel.
Yeah,
I was like, I can't see it there. I was like, the only line I saw was like, but that with the Cindy turn 1 storm.
It's funny. I put this into my amethyst steel deck to try.
Let me know how it goes.
Because I felt like I would have more opportunities to damage an opposing character in that build versus Steel Song to be able to play this.
I mean, in the Amethyst Steel, it's just not necessarily a turn 2 play.
Yeah, exactly. Like I'm not.
Whereas I was thinking of it as 2 costs on turn 2.
Mm-hmm.
For that build, it just would not be a turn 2 cost.
Yeah. I don't think it's gonna stay in my Amethyst Steel deck, but that would be the place that I could see trying it more than anything else in the decks that I play. And I do like the combination of it with Smee. But I agree. I am hesitant on this one and it was so funny. I was reading through all your notes and Bri, you were like, this is the best thing ever. Here's why, here's the plan.
I was so excited.
And Alex, I was totally like, I don't think I'm gonna have that in my hand. And
it was also 4 a.m.
Well, I think, right, if the text on the card was like, this enters exerted unless you've damaged a character, 1000% the stat line is great, right, is a better version of me. But, like, because you, like, straight up cannot play the card, I think that more often than not, it is a 2-drop that you don't ever want to see on 2. And at that point, then it's like, just play something else. Because you can get a bigger body that's inkable that you can play at another time. I think there's also a place in like a green steel pirates deck. The hard part there is like, what are you gonna do? Fire the cannons?
Yeah, I think it's just. I think this has potential. It just has to find the right deck, and I still think, to your point, it's not a turn 2 card. So
yeah,
is it worth playing something else over it? Probably,
unless you get Cindy and sing Storm. Then
yes,
it's fantastic. You basically have a Smee that's not going to keep gaining damage because it's still the 2 cost 3/3 that plus for 2.
Absolutely. And I think in a world in which you get Cindy, your opponent plays into Cindy, and you also have Storm in your hand, then yes, Nathaniel Flint is great.
I did it.
Otherwise, I don't, because you have to damage the character this turn, this is not a turn 2 play.
Yeah.
But see, with them playing so many decks, playing the Ruby Amethyst decks, not Ruby Amethyst, Ruby Sapphire decks with the bell. So turn 1 popsicle, blow it up, play a bell.
Ooh, card idea.
Exactly.
Hear me out. Change the text on this card to discard a song, play for free.
Ooh.
Sign me up for that.
I like that because that would fit really well into like the Emerald Steel also, just with discard. But I'm just saying.
Yeah.
All right. She's right there. You got your 4 of storms. That's 8. That's 8 cards. You just need to draw 2 of them. just have them.
Just have them. Just have them. That's fair. We'll just have them. Yeah. This is what I'm looking at starting my Steel Song for set 8 at. And I thought that it would be a good kind of conversation about deck building, switching out cards when new cards come out. I am very big on only changing like a handful of cards. And in this case, I've really only taken out 2 and added 2 in. And I
only like 2 daisies. You know how much I love that card. You're hurting my soul.
I like to try to see like how small changes help my deck versus like huge, massive changes, because I feel like it's hard for me to identify what's working and what isn't when I make a small shift or make a larger shift rather than making a smaller shift. Alex, what are your thoughts? Because I know you're another Steel Song player.
I'm not a fan of Troubadour.
I also go back and forth on if I like him, if I don't like him. So I support that view.
Yeah. I get why he's good. I get the argument for why he's good. I just like the Ursula better for Rapunzel value. That is generally it. Mm-hmm. As far as like the count is concerned, I would replace the Troubadours with 2 Sonic Warriors because she's a great card. I think 2 Stout-Hearted is too many. I would probably add a Lawrence.
See, this is where we differ. I love my big Cindy.
No. I'm not a big Cindy hater. I know that. Very clear.
But everybody always tells me to go down in Cindy's, and I can't do it. I have to because the pain I feel when I have to ink the only one in my deck because I've gotten it on turn 2 as my draw card. It pains me so much. So I have to have at least 2.
So that 61 cards.
Okay.
Yeah. That's
a normal thing for me as well.
Cindy Stout-Hearted is one of my favorite cards in the game. And I have tried to fit 2 of her because I have 2 D23 of her. That I just like, I want her to be in my deck always. And while she does win matchups, it takes a spot away from like a Sonic Warrior that like, I didn't believe in Sonic Warrior until last set where I went, okay, I actually see the work that you do. And I think if the split has to be 2 and 1 of the big ladies, then we have to think about which one we get to play more and that which one does the most in a wide array of matchups. And that is Sonic Warrior. Because Cindy's great, but like getting let go your Cindy, you're like getting Hazy's your Cindy, you're like, actually, I don't want to play anymore. Quit taking my Cindy away from me. Like it takes so much.
No, you can't do that. But which is usually the reaction that the player that does that gets from me. I'm like, who said you could do that?
I usually am like, oh, you want to send the Cindy to the inkwell, but what if you didn't?
Like, oh, Cindy, you want to put the little one that's underneath it in there, but leave this one here.
Okay. I will say if I shift Cindy and then let it go, I don't feel as bad because I'm like, too much. I like because I feel like typically because the uninkable count is so high.
Yeah.
In this deck, I don't mind when somebody sends ink to my inkwell because then it helps me. But at the same time, it also hurts to lose a big play.
Yeah. I think our lists, like starting out day 1, are very similar in that, like, I'm probably still on the Robin Hood shift line. I just don't like the Queen shift line all that much. I would go up on a Lawrence.
I want to like the Queen shift line so bad because I have I have my play set of big Queen signed by the artist, and they make my heart happy because I love it's my favorite artist. So I feel you, but it just never. Robin just feels so much better than
it's just so much harder to remove, and since people aren't on the lady in the chairs anymore, it's kind of like, oh, you can't remove my Robin Hood. Yeah, run into it with your Maui. I'll draw a card. It's just so much harder to remove. I think in the red-blue match is the only match that I'm like, I really wish I could whole new world on turn 3 or turn 2. Like that would be nice. I think my starting list is somewhat similar to this. I cut the Troubadours, add a Lawrence, add 2 Stout-Hearted, add 2 Sonic Warriors, cut one of the Stout-Hearted.
We cut the Troubadours and we add 2 and a Lawrence because we're not you can't convince me. I'm sorry.
I know, I get it. I'm not gonna even try because I literally I played 2 Cindys for so long, and when everybody was like, stop playing Cindy, like you don't need 2 of her, you only ever need 1. And I'm like, I hear you, but people often think you're playing 1. And so when they see it go in the inkwell on turn 1, because it's the only ink you have,
we're done. We don't have to worry about that.
We don't got to worry about it. And then you shift it out for game. And they're like, oh, like the similar thing with Sonic Warrior, right? Like people just don't play around it as effectively. And they're like, oh, I know that Sonic Warrior is a thing, but like I saw you ink one. Actually, I won a match because of that, and or won a game. And he's like a good friend, and he was just like, I did not know that you had 2 of her in there. And I was like, yeah, well, I did. And so like, I get it. I think unfortunately 2 World's Greatest is necessary now. I, for a while, was on 1 World's Greatest and 4 Zeus's instead of the 2-3 combo. I think 2-4 is better. And when you're on aerials, you don't have to have a target, and you can still, get rid of something. So it's just worth it. But yeah, that's probably how I feel about it. I don't see adding in that better version of Smee into this list, though.
No, I didn't either. I couldn't take any of my cards out to do that.
Take out the Troubadour.
No.
I want my 4 singer. If that's
slide them in there.
Happen.
And then you'll have your Cindy, and then you sing your Storm on their bell.
Now I know exactly what Bri is going to bring the first time she tries to play Steel Song this set. It's going to have that card in. And do you know what's the worst part is? She's going to get the combo off and be like, see, I told
you so. Just like I told you I would sell those miscuts that no one wanted. I got a whole $1 each for them.
All right.
The dollar's important.
Let's dive into these last few cards. Namari, what do we think? Do we think this is going to be played or not? I go back and forth.
I think she'll see.
Maybe I don't think she's a 4 of. I think she's limited.
I think. What do we think she'll see play with though? I think Amethyst Steel. I
think maybe Emerald Steel.
I can also see her in aggro Amber Steel, right?
That's fair too.
Because a lot of characters are going to the discard.
Yeah.
Or even aggro green steel. I think anything that's like
Steel Fasa.
Okay.
Every set there's one that I'm like, you know what? This would fit really good into a Mufasa deck.
I thought that was.
I love how Alex just looks down like, oh God, Bri.
I thought you already decided it was going into your. Oh, that's not Steel Fasa. That's your red Fasa deck.
Yeah. So yes. Fair. This is steel, so it can't go into red Fasa unless I just take like a Sharpie.
I will agree with Bri here. I do think that Steel Fasa could see this card. I don't know that is the spot you want to take up in that deck, right, with this card, but I think that people are going to try to make it do things because it has card draw and it's a bigger body in steel that's helpful, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Good with Lilo Escape Artist. I agree.
Yeah.
It would not feel bad discarding that. Her counter art that I love. Desperate Plan.
Yeah. So good.
Bri, I know this is one you said you didn't think would see play, but I think this sees play. I think there's enough cards that there's enough decks that could use this and the card draw. This is similar to why can't I think of it? She would be good with Steel Mulan too.
As a Steel Song player, every time I see an action that is not also a song, I get sad.
Same. Same. I'm glad somebody else.
I'm just like, I don't think it's doing enough. It's uninkable. It's just.
I think because it's a
free it's missing too much.
That you want late in the game, so you're not really like. I don't think you're playing 4 of these in your deck, but I could see this like kind of paired in some sort of dock deck where this is like another dock,
or Ruby Steel maybe with if you just need to load in low cost actions for your shark to pop off, but still I don't think the card is quite, it's missing too much for my taste.
Yeah,
I like a good stretch, but
yeah, I think it's a dock card. I think it's designed for a deck where you're playing with no cards, and then you pop off and you get card draw. And we all love to go across from dock when dock gets to be chained. So like dock, discard, draw this, play this. Like you're just like, I'm gonna refill my hand and I'm chilling, and your opponent's like.
If you were in a stronger discard meta, I feel like it would probably be better. But I think maybe I'm just not seeing enough discard everywhere.
Yeah.
For me to feel like it's. Also, maybe I just play too much purple where I'm like, no cards in hand, braid no work.
That never happens.
That's not a thing.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, beautiful.
I am sure this is going to see play. But
when they play a character, it just goes right back to your hand.
I mean, but you gain a lore. So I just see, do you know what I see happening here? Is I see a world where I have this plus goat plus rose in a deck. And I make someone so unhappy because I played
Honey Marin also.
All of those cards.
Yeah, I think that this, I think that this will see play. Like on play lore is good. Also, the reason I was like beautiful is because it is a gorgeous enchanted. And I found out the other day that Dawn has never seen Bambi.
I know I've definitely seen Bambi, but I had to look up Bambi because I was Bambi is a prince? I didn't know this.
Oh, well, I feel like everyone had that same feeling though. Was like, wait a second. I don't remember that part of the movie.
I absolutely didn't and had to go look it up.
Yeah. But no, I think the art on this is beautiful. I think it being instant is just like people are going to, so like think of it from a Steel Song angle, right? If I don't want it to go back to hand, I have to waste one of my removals on Bambi. If you play 2 of Bambi or 3 of Bambi, I'm sad because I need those removals for Genie, right?
For like
so
other things.
It just like all it's really meant to do is just pop down and pop up. And the time that your player, like the player across from you, cannot play a character because they don't have
3 lore off of it.
Yeah, you're like, cool. I'll gain 3 lore here. That's fantastic.
Right? So now this card's if it sticks 1 turn, it's 4 lore. If it doesn't stick, it's 2 because you're going to be able to play it again.
Yeah.
Or potentially they've used an action on it, which
it's also
realistically, like you don't want, like I would love someone to use an action on this card over, maybe one of my foxes or any of the mana mims.
Yeah. I don't think it's going to be a 4 of card. I think it's going to be like a 2 of card. And I think it's a good card. I think the art's beautiful.
It is. I agree. All right. We can think about my choices. I put them in there.
3-peat is wrong. It is always 4-peat. 110%.
To be very transparent, I was trying to find a way to put this card in and try it out because
make him the 3 of
and
Pete the 4.
So committed that it was the right choice.
Actually, I think that you are playing. I think you're playing the better version of Smee. I think that's just what we're gonna call it. I think it's actually here for giant cobra fodder. Right? Yeah. That's what I think it's just meant to discard, you know? And then you discard it and they're like, what are you playing?
And confuse them.
And you're like, oh yeah, no, I actually get to play this later in the game, but you got to see it now. Here's the preview. Haha, I won. I think that honestly, I'm a 4 Zeus type person. I love my Zeuses. Also, if anybody finds an extra in a shiny Zeus, I need it. But
we might have acquired one last week.
Oh yes?
Yeah. But I'm sorry, I need it too. So we're at an impasse.
I can search once I navigate our boxes of chaos.
Yeah. Valid perspective. I think, honestly, all joking aside, I think that going down to 2 of like the better version of Smee, and going up 1 Pete, up 1 Zeus.
Yeah.
Like that's where I'd be down to try him. And I think
bold with going all in on him.
Yeah. The hard part with him is right. Like if you don't damage something, you can't bounce him either.
No.
And so you're like stuck in because it's this turn. It's not like is damaged, was damaged. It has to be sing damage a lot of the time. And
your Cindy singing Storm.
And
right.
So,
I will die on this hill.
We're gonna keep going so we don't break on Bri's hot takes. Jafar, I am excited to see this in an illusion deck. Like
there's a lot of very good illusion cards coming out.
I want to see. I've been a Jafar believer since set 3. I would like to see this in potentially a Jafar wheel, but I think it would only be like maybe a one of or.
I will talk to y'all later.
I love that. So, no. Everybody say hi to Watson. We are running a little over, so I understand why the dogs were set off.
Yeah.
Do you want to go through these last few cards with me, Alex?
Yeah, let's do it.
Awesome. So I want to see Jafar wheel continue to grow in popularity, but I also want to see an illusion deck. I am excited for some of the different decks to start being played and seeing a little bit more like light of day and more competitive play, because I think we're almost at a point where it's possible.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that this card particularly does something for this potential archetype of deck that is really, really cool. Because I think last set everybody was like, oh, illusions. Why do they exist? And I think that is something that like this card begs an answer, right? It has that you may play that character for free line. Like it begs an answer. I don't know how much play it will see, and I'm wondering if it will be an illusions Jafar wheel deck, right? Like that's what I'm wondering, because that's what it seems to be leaning toward in my humbled opinion.
Yeah, and I think that would be fun to see. Next card up.
Beautiful.
I think I would see this in the amethyst, or not amethyst, the ruby sapphire action deck. I could see this going in. I don't play that deck, so I don't know if it actually would fit. But I'm curious of your thoughts.
Yeah, I think that it could. A lot of people are really excited to test this deck, test this card. I think that I am more excited for the Enchanted of this card than I am the card itself.
That's fair. That's what I didn't know if my art heart was blinded by this one.
I think there is definitely a space for this card, and I do think it is decent. Like, I think that, right, you may play that character for free, like we were just talking about. Such a powerful line. I think that it will see play. Yeah. I personally am more excited about the Enchanted than the card itself.
I need it. I'm back.
That was terrifying.
Oh my gosh, that was because I just heard a gasp.
I looked up and it was like instant, just like Lilo, and I was like, oh, I need them. I need all of them.
Yes, I will be buying Lilo and Stitch Enchanteds this next set if I do not pull them. It will be happening.
See, I need Courtney's luck for this one because we need our one for our no touchy, and then for me personally, I need another one just so I can have Grace like doodle Scrump on the card. Mm-hmm. Because if I did that to our no touchy one, my husband might cry.
Yeah. Me too. I'm gonna cry too.
All right.
Good card. Good card. Beautiful art. Will see play. 100%.
No notes.
Oh yeah.
No notes. Will see play is amazing.
Everything about this card. Busted.
Yeah, I think this is going to be great in the Chernodog deck. Mm-hmm. I'm excited.
Chernodog just got beefed even more.
I also think, like, right, first weekend, second weekend, people are going to be on Chernodogs because it's the clearest line of the things that got things this set.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so I think that this Enchanted is just going to be one of the ones that if you pull it, it's going to be worth a lot. Like, I pulled a Tramp this set. Well, I say Don pulled a Tramp this set, and that one like shot up in value when this card was announced, and I was like,
mm-hmm.
I pulled 3 Tramps.
Okay, not all of us can be like you.
Okay, Courtney.
They all went. 2 of the 3 went to no touchies. So.
Yeah.
Well,
thank you, Courtney.
We help the collectors out before we start trying to make money.
Yes. Yes.
We are on a roll with Enchanteds. It's just there are a lot of good cards that got Enchanted this set.
Which is exciting. I'm glad that good cards got the Enchanted. Yeah. They're definitely going to be purchased more and help increase the value of all.
I do think that this one will need to sit next to my Elsa. Because it might be one of those arts that like I am obsessed with.
It is very good. I'm not even I'm not a big Frozen person.
I am not the biggest Frozen person either. It's not my favorite Disney movie by any means, but just the contrast of the colors on this card are so pretty.
Well, just like the first one, right? The first Elsa in chapter 1, pink and blue, first of all, my color combination. I think that they do a very good job. I also think that it's very smart to have picked this card. 1, because it'll see play, but 2, because it is that franchise that just will make money.
Yes. I did not even think about this, but this card is such a good way to remove Diablo.
It's so good, and it only costs 3.
Yeah,
and it's equal. And it's strong.
It's amazing. Blurple will be built as soon as it is out.
Yeah, I also will do some Blurple next set because of this card.
Yeah.
So. It's too good to not at least try it.
All right, guys. The best card of the set, Perdita. I'm so excited. She's beautiful.
I think she's beautiful.
Now we're
do not share your non-believing puppy deck.
No, that's not what I was going to say.
Oh, okay. What were you going to say?
I just don't think she's the best card of the set.
Now we're going to Courtney's hill. We went from mine with Mr. Nathaniel. Now we're going to Courtney's with Perdita.
This is the hill I die on. It's Perdita is great. And
where are all the Perditas 6 costs?
That's a good question. They are.
It's a good number.
She's a beefy mom. That's why.
Yeah.
And we love her. And everybody can have my puppy deck. And I hope you all enjoy the name of my puppy deck, which is Can I Pet That Dog?
I love this deck so much.
I will be playing puppies this set. I will try my hardest to make it work because it's just about there.
Yeah.
Alex, I love that I've just made you speechless.
Yeah, no notes.
No notes.
I do have so many notes. I have a question.
What's your question?
Why is there one of the Dalmatian puppy?
Oh, shoot. Okay, so that was because it copied incorrectly.
Was it supposed
I didn't
to be 4?
notice until now. No, it's one of each. So it's one of each of the different
each of the arts, like the A, B, C, D, E.
Yes. So there are supposed to be 6, I believe, is what I had that I was playing of the tail waggers.
But you're not playing 99 puppies?
Well, no, because as much as I want to play 99 puppies, that makes it a little difficult to play the rest of the cards in the deck.
I meant the card 99 puppies.
Oh,
not 99 of the puppies.
That one doesn't fit in here. It really doesn't. It's not worth because I think it's uninkable, and there are better cards to keep in here than that.
Yeah, I am excited to see how puppies goes. I'm excited to hear updates. I'm a puppy believer from afar. I probably won't play puppies, but I am excited for all the people in my life that do want to play the puppies because I think that it's great. I'm interested to see because I want a puppy deck that is like proliferating puppies that just is oppressive. But I get that is somewhat in opposition to what the puppies are trying to do. So, I
do think we need at least 1 or 2 more 1-drops.
Yeah.
To make it really work.
Pongo, isn't that the rare that you can... Wait, no, not Pongo. Who is it? Lucky? The rare you can play... Is it right there? And I'm just like blind because I'm old. The puppy card where you like can tap it. That's cost 2 or less or whatever. You can put it into your hand.
Yes, that's the lucky next to Lady.
Okay, yeah. I was like, am I just blind and I can't see because my computer screen is tiny? I'm working off of limited resources at the moment.
Yeah, no, you're all good. You are correct. So that is my true thoughts on the meta is it's going to be puppies.
All hopes.
That was the last of the chaos that I had to share. I had fun going through all of the cards for set 8 at random that we picked for this.
Nathaniel is going to be amazing.
And Bri, I hope that is true for you. I don't agree, but I hope it works out for you. And
maybe he'll just be my secret sauce that I talk about constantly, so it's not really secret. But
yeah, I'm gonna be honest. If you played him on 2, I'd be like, "What is he doing here?" And my Smee.
Alex, are there any cards that we didn't share that you think are going to shape the meta a ton?
I off of the top of my head with the long day I've had,
it's okay.
I think to answer the question, yes. But if there's a follow-up question, unsure at the moment. I would have to go look. But I selfishly think that the card that I revealed will see some play. I think that she's a decent card. I don't think she's amazing, but I think she's decent. And inkable, and really in this game, we just want inkable cards.
We just want inkable cards. That's so true.
Yeah.
I did see in the chat that Mr. Lucky Big Brain said he's making a pirate location deck with Emerald Steel. I played against one of those in Denver, and it was actually very good. And it's especially with the new Captain Hook, the bigger one, I definitely think we're going to see an increase in that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, definitely agree with that.
Especially with the new art of the set 1 Captain Hook.
Mm-hmm.
Alt art that's coming out with it.
Yeah.
Since we have kept Alex much later than I initially told them they would be here for, I would like to thank you immensely for joining us.
Of course. Thank you for having me.
At the start of the show, you mentioned where people can find you, but I will let you plug yourself again.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks. You can find me on all things, all the social medias at Alex the Queer, as it's written above my head. And then my co-host Agro Baby and I are launching our Rotten to the Lore. So you can stay tuned on Alex the Queer things. Maybe I'll get another card reveal for the next set. Who knows? And then also we're going to be doing a show pretty consistently and putting out content every day. Really excited about it. A lot of it is just like getting people into the community rather than like being competitive. Also demystifying some of the boundaries that like folks who are neurodivergent or are not white or are queer have to face in the community, or just like aren't men, because sometimes we do things. And a situation happened at one of the set champs I went to this weekend. It was a win and in match that I was a part of, and I let the person take back what they had done. They had Pan on board and played Shark, used Pan to take out one of my characters, put in their discard, and they were like, oh wait, I now can't use my Shark to clear board, and then I do just win the game 3 turns earlier. Often assigned female at birth folks are taught to be very nice in ways that everyone else there was like, why did you let him take that back? You almost lost the game because you let him take back a mistake he made. And I was like, yeah, I was being nice. And I think so some of our conversations are going to be like, how do we enter into a TCG space when you don't have the experience? But also like when somebody's telling you things like, oh, if you're playing too slow and y'all go to time, you should just concede. Because that is something that a lot of TCG folks will say is a good thing to do, but the people just aren't taught why that is even a thing. And particularly AFAB folks are the ones at the end of that stick going, oh, I'm supposed to concede? Oh, I don't want to do the thing that I'm not supposed to do in this community, but also like, I don't know the math right now because I don't know what we're doing. And so a lot of that, and getting new players involved in the game, because, you know, Lorcana is where it's at. That's what we should be doing. So,
and we will definitely, I'm just saying that we're going to have you back to talk a lot more on those topics, because that's something that's very important to us as well.
Yeah. Also, any excuse to have you involved in anything because we love you.
Yes. And we will definitely be directing any newer players to your content, because I think that that's really important in the community. That's stuff that Bri and I value a lot, and why part of the reason why we started this channel was to get sort of the competitive perspective from 2 females, because we didn't see a ton of that in the community, and we wanted to make sure that we continue to just promote other people in the space that are similar to us when there are a lot of guys in the space.
Yep. Show that we are not, this is not the Magic the Gathering community. This is Lorcana, and we are going to do things differently because we are here and we're not going anywhere.
Yep. We care more about community than we do about winning.
Exactly.
And so, yeah, no, for sure. I love y'all. Thank you so much for having me on. It was a lot of fun.
We had a blast. Thanks so much. Thanks everyone for tuning in.
Bye.